Name is Haneef, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to use a payroll system that I created for my team to run PAYE, pension, and other payroll-related transactions. Given the new laws in 2026, we also just updated it to make it easier for not just our business, but for other entrepreneurs in Nigeria. So feel free to follow me as I share some of these quick tips. So first thing is that the model is separated into three main parts. The first part is the input where the business just needs to provide the employee details. So from name to the salary, annual salary amount that you'll be paying them. And then there's a part where the model does all the computation and calculations. You don't have to worry about any of this, just to what the model run is magic. And then finally, you see the outputs for each of the different parts of the model, from salaries to pay, pension, and some of the other aspects of payroll. So without wasting much time, let's just get right into it. You can get into the employee list page by clicking on the link here. That takes you into the page. We've added some data here just for illustrative purposes. So if you're downloading this for your business, you would then have to edit or type over this information here with your own employee details. And if the lines are not sufficient, you can simply add a new record by typing in the next line below. Now you'll notice that some texts are highlighted in red. Those are the required field. You have to provide this information for the model to work properly. And then for the others, you can provide them optionally if you have them. Is the more you provide, the better, at least for your record purposes. So, like I said, it's as easy to add information as just typing the next line. So I'm just going to add a new data here for illustrative purposes. We can type this, we put in a new date, active, and we can put in something here. Now I'm just going to copy a data here just to save time. You can always copy the information if you already have it somewhere. Now, once we've added this, the next thing is to go into the computation sheet. And on this sheet, you don't have to do much. The only thing you need to do is select the month of payroll you're trying to run. So the last month in the record here is March. So we can choose to run for April. So I'll select April. And you can see that after doing that, the date here changes. The information is already pulling from the employee list that we have. So now you'll see that for last month we had only 12 employees. So since I've added a new staff now, we can then add that person to this computation sheet as well. And what we'll do here is to copy the last record, highlight the row, and then copy, Control C, then paste the information here. Once you do that, that preserves the computations, and then all you need to do is change the employee by selecting the drop down and choosing the new employee. If you were to fire anybody on your team, it's as simple as coming here to delete that person from the computation so that it doesn't keep competing for that person as well. One other point I should mention is when you enter the data in the employee list, make sure you're putting the um, annual remuneration, the annual salary, not the monthly amount you pay, but the annual figure. So the tax computation leverages the annual figure as against monthly, and then you then have a report that shows you the monthly payment. So now that we've run for April, the next thing we need to do is to make sure that we save this data for in our record, in our database. So the best way to do that is go to the first line, then press Control A. That selects the entire record, excluding the heading. We don't need the headings. So just the data, and then we can copy, then go into our payroll database. On the payroll database, you want to make sure that you're going to the last line in the database and then you paste in the next line. You don't want to leave any space in between this. So since the last record here is on line 36, I'm going to move to 37. Then I'll right click in column A and say paste values. So that pastes the record. Now, once this is done, the database is updated. We can now go into the report and simply refresh the report. Whenever you come into the report after adding new data, it's always best to refresh all to make sure that everything is properly captured. And since we're running for April, once we finish refreshing, we can then see what the April payroll looks like. Bearing in mind that for March, we had just 12 employees. And I think we should have 13 for April, given that we hired a new person. So it's done updating now. We can select April from the timeline and we can see that the new employee is also showing in the record. And this first table here, the first report, only shows you the take home for each employee. The next one shows you a more detailed payroll with the breakdown of the take home. So from basic allowance to all the other allowances that you have programmed in the employee list. And then the last table here just gives you like an all-time history for the payroll you've been running. You can see the first one for January, March, April, and the most recent one we just ran for April. And the same format you have for other reports like the payee. You can see this is the payee schedule for April. You can see the historical payee records from inception to date. So that's how this system works. It's been designed to make it easy to process payroll, payee, pension, and other payroll related transactions. And with so doing, hopefully, we hope that it would, not only save time but also save costs that Nigerian businesses are incurring to run their business. Feel free to download with the link